Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to another video from Exotic Astrology. So, looks you have become very familiar with this chart. Yes? Yes, I know you're learning. Or maybe you have already learned it. Okay, so what are we going to discuss today? Yes, today is the main houses. Okay, we had already done a video on the 12 houses in general, the first video of this channel, and today we will discuss about the four prominent areas which are called the Kendra houses. Okay, Kendra houses, the pillar of the horoscope. And before I start, as usual, as I always say, God is there with you all the time. Just look to him and he will be there. Okay. So I would like to set a gentle reminder that these four are the houses, not the zodiac signs. Okay, so as I always say, wherever there is number one, that house, that square will always, irrespective of the number, whichever number is placed there, it will always be the first house. And wherever number four is placed in the left, that house will always be the fourth. And wherever seven is there, is directly opposite of the first house, there will always be the seventh house dynamics in that house. And the house which is exactly opposite of number 4 is number 10. Okay, so what is the first house? First house, we all know, it is the house of our personality, it is the house of our body, it is the house of our image, our reputation, our name, our fame. Wow, how people perceive us. Okay, what do people think of us? What is our image on a broader context? It is also called the ascendant or the lagna. Okay, so that is why first house becomes very important, because it is who we are inside as a person. Yes, what people think of us. Generally, people may say, suppose I will go in detail of placements of planets in houses later, but as of now, suppose there is a person with Jupiter in the first house. As we had seen in the earlier videos, what does Jupiter represent? It represents wisdom, knowledge, spirituality. Okay, it represents gurus, your counselors, your dharma, your guides, fatherly figures, great personalities. So, whichever planet sits in the Lagna, it becomes the most prominent planet of the horoscope. Point to be noted. Whichever planet sits in the Lagna or in the ascendant or in the first house, that becomes the most prominent planet of the horoscope. Depending on the sign and the relationship of the planet with the sign, which we will discuss later, things will vary. Well, let me give you an example. People may be doing anything, but ultimately they will end up doing something very prominent regarding the planet which is placed in the first house. Now, why is it so? I will give you the example later. Why is it so that the first house becomes so important? Because, irrespective of the sign which is there, the first house is the sum of all the other 11 houses. It is called the Lagna, it is the ascendant, whichever sign was rising from the east when you were born, that is the ascendant. So, that becomes the foremost house, it is the strongest house. or most prominent house, because it defines you as a person, what you will do wherever the Lord of the Ascendant. We will discuss what is Lord of the Ascendant later, but whenever any planet is sitting in the ascendant or it is aspecting the ascendant, we will discuss what is known by aspecting the ascendant later. But as of now, any planet which is connected to the ascendant or first house becomes the most important planet, because first house is your head, it is your brain, it's your whole life. It is like saying, okay, I take this planet over my head. For example, suppose somebody's sun is placed in the first house, okay, then that aspect of the sun will become defining principle of the horoscope. Sun is what? Sun is your ego, your sense of self-worth. What do you identify with? As I had said in the earlier video, if you had watched, Atma is the one which we identify with. Yes, as I had said earlier, that we may be a basketball player, but if we identify more with maybe being the husband of our wife, then if somebody asks us, who are you? Then you may not say, I'm a basketball player. You may say, oh, I am the husband of so and so. Yes, because that is what you identify more with, even though you are technically professionally a basketball player. Now, if it is the opposite, you will directly say, I'm a basketball player, irrespective of whoever is my wife. Okay. So any planet in the Lagna becomes very prominent, because that is the defining house. It is you yourself. So it is like saying, if suppose sun is there, then you have taken sun over your head, which means what? Whatever sun represents, those areas will be, those aspects will be very prominent in your life. They will become the divine defining principle of your life. Your whole life will always revolve around that, or ultimately you will end up doing something related to the sun. Okay, which is what? Government, authority figures, leaders, seniors, powerful people, politics, parliament, legislative assembly, elections. Now that is the mundane side of sun. As I always say, there are two sides of planets. There are mundane sides and there are higher sides. Okay, that is the mundane side, all these which I said. Now higher side of sun is what? It represents the soul. Sun is the DNA. It is representing your soul. Okay, that is why sun also is the significator of astrology, because it is also light. We will discuss about sun later when we go to uh, planets and their discussions in specific. But as of now, I am just saying, these are, there are mundane traits of planets and then there are higher traits. Okay, so higher traits are spirituality, wisdom, light, transforming other people. Yes, enlightening other people, giving other people knowledge. When the sun shines, everything is bright. So whenever we appear, because Lagna is ourselves, when we appear, people feel that, oh, the sun has appeared. And these people with sun in the first house have also the capacity to walk alone, because when the sun shines, it shines alone. It doesn't need the help or support of anybody to achieve its purpose. Yes, those people who have a very strong sun will have these traits. For example, Swami Vivekananda, all of us know who he is. And for those who do not know, he is a very one of the most famous saints of India. Of course, he is no more now. Long back, he had left this planet, and he was one of the pioneers who had taken spirituality from India to the West, and he had gone to Chicago also, where he spoke. Yes, so he has sun in the ascendant, and he was a monk. He was a celibate. He never got married. or even if he was married, I don't know. But at the end, he left. He left his family, his mother, his father, everybody. And then he became a monk. And he was giving light, wisdom, spirituality to everybody. Yes, because that is the most prominent house. Whatever that house is saying, that will be the defining house, the defining principle of your horoscope. Now, let me give you another example. There is this famous Bollywood actress called Katrina Kaif. We would have heard about her. Most of us know her. Okay, so now this Katrina Kaif, she is a Bollywood star. Okay, movie star. She has done so many movies. But this girl, or this lady, or this actress, whatever you want to call her, she has Jupiter in the Lagna, first house. It is in the sign of Sagittarius in Mula Nakshatra. We will discuss about Sagittarius and Mula Nakshatra later. So Jupiter is in the ninth sign in the first house. It is extremely powerful there. It is in its own sign. We will discuss what is own sign, what is exaltation, what is debilitation later. So this girl, although she is into acting and modeling, etc., etc., but now I have come to know recently that she has become very spiritual. She has started learning astrology also. See, this is what happens. Any planet is there in the Lagna, that is the defining principle of the horoscope. You will ultimately land up doing something related to that. That is, you can take as a thumb rule. It always works and it has to work because that's something very obvious. It's your head, your whole life. You are focusing on that planet continuously, constantly, non stop. That is always in the back of your mind. It never leaves you. And you get name and fame from that planet, tremendous name fame, because that planet, whatever it represents, you pursue it very aggressively. And when you do hard work and you pursue things aggressively, you without doubt we get success there. Of course that can depend to on our karma to what degree we get success, but in general hard work pays off in the long run. Where talent falls short, hard work pays there. Yes. So that becomes the defining aspect of the horoscope. That is very important, the Lagna. So any planet in the Lagna has tremendous capacity to give name fame, especially if it is a planet like Sun. Now, for example, if Jupiter is there, as I said, you will always pursue religion and spirituality, higher knowledge, higher consciousness, divine things, out of this world. Okay, abstract. Jupiter is abstract. What if Moon is there in the Lagna? You will be overly emotional. Emotions will be the driving force, your mother, motherly figures. Whatever you do in life, you will see do you get emotional fulfillment there. If yes, then you will do. If not, then maybe you won't. Or that is how you would want to work. Now you will work or not, that depends on so many other factors. But that will be your default rate, you understand? That will be your standard algorithm which is inside you. If moon is placed in the Lagna, everything in life you will see emotionally. You will try to connect to people emotionally. You will try to, because moon is the mother is what she is, very much nourishing, and she nourishes everybody. She doesn't have any enemies. Yes, a mother never considers anybody as her enemy, so you'll be very loving, caring, kind, very emotional, even if you are a man. Any examples? Yes, we have a famous example of the current Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who, as I said earlier, many a times when he speaks about his mother, he gets very emotional and he breaks down into tears. Now, what if Mars is sitting in the first house? You will be very aggressive, very passionate. Whatever you do, you will be like, yes, I am going to get it done at all costs. If Mercury is there, it's fabulous. Jupiter, Mercury does fabulous in the first house. You will always be seeking knowledge, seeking higher education if Jupiter or Mercury, then mundane knowledge. You will try to improve your communication. You will try to gain knowledge yourself. You is the first house, you yourself. You will try to gain knowledge yourself. You will not rely on other people. Yes. Now Jupiter, Mercury both does excellent in the first house. Now Mercury means gaining knowledge through our own self, our own abilities. Yes. Relying on our experience, doing things ourselves. Okay. Gaining experience ourselves rather than relying on others. At the same time, Jupiter also does excellent in the first. Which means that when Mercury fails, you should go to your guru, your counselor, your senior, your advisor, your mentor, your teacher. He can teach you the best. So that's why both does excellent in the first house. So the student should study himself and he should be going to the teacher also. Not that he is only going to the teacher and not doing any self study. Then he will fail in the exam. And if he's only doing self study but not going to any teacher, then he will not know how to do things properly because no guidance. No? Jupiter is guidance. So both does excellent in the first. Okay, so placement of planets in the Lagna is extremely important. Then we have the fourth house, which is the house of mother, your inner heart, your home. It's not house, it's home. It is also property to some extent, but primarily it is the house of home. It is the house of house also. Land, property, real estate, luxury, hotels, vehicles, comforts, beds, chairs, tables, any luxury which you see in this world. That is the fourth house. And it is also the place of your heart, your inner contentment, your peace, your satisfaction, your gratitude, your emotions, how you feel inside. It is the house of happiness. Fourth house is the house of happiness. How happy you are can be known by seeing the fourth house. And it is the house of delight. Okay. Delight means luxuries, comforts, pleasures, happiness, home. Whenever you think of going home, you become very happy. Yes, almost all of us. Some exceptions might be there who might want to stay out of home, but in general, I'm saying for majority of the cases, we always want to go home. We are always thinking, when will I go home? When will the day come when I will go home and I will collapse in that bed in my mother's arms, okay, or anybody in the home, especially. And for a married man, it also represents the family which he creates himself. Second house is the family which he was born into, his whole family of relatives and uncle, aunt, mother, father, brother, cousin, sisters, etc. Fourth house is the family which you create after getting married. So you, your children, and your wife. And it is directly opposite of the 10th house of career and work. And career is not given the house of happiness. It is the home. That's why they say now home is where the heart is. So you are always thinking, when will I go home? As soon as it's 12 o'clock, you think, oh my god, I have to work for 5 hours more, 6 hours more. As soon as it's 6 o'clock, you are very happy. Yes, now I'm going home. You'll meet your wife, you'll meet your children. The same people every day, but still you are very happy. That is why it is called the pillar of the horoscope. Among the Kendras, fourth house is the actual pillar of the horoscope. Pillar, by pillar, I mean, I don't mean that it is more important than the Lagna, but it means that it is support. Your home is your support. If you do not have support in your home, you will be the most miserable person in this planet. And if you have support from your home, you can cope up with any difficulty that comes in your life. Anything happens, but if things are good in the home, can things can be managed. Yes. But if things go wrong in the home, if you are having a fight in the family, or your children are not happy with you, your spouse is not happy, then things will go wrong. Even if you are earning financially, you are having the best of the best promotions, you are getting name fame, but internally you will not be happy. So internal happiness and home is kept in the same place. So to be internally happy, you have to be in that homely atmosphere. Then only you can be happy. Of course, there are so many other conditions to see how much happy a person will be or how much happy a person can be, but primarily I am saying this is the house of inner happiness. That is why it is also kept with the house of mother, because in the initial days when we are born, we are helpless. Our mother is everything actually. For us, we only know our mother. Even we don't know our father sometimes. Of course, we all know our father, but we are primarily attached to the mother more because we are drinking milk from her breast, and she's the one who had kept us for months, 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, sometimes even more. So we are very attached to our mother. Whenever we think of our mother, we become very emotional, we become very soft. We always want to go and meet her. Almost all of us. Exceptions may be there. Okay, so that shows our internal contentment, inner happiness. And two planets does excellent in the fourth house, especially Moon and Venus, because they are watery planets. We will discuss what are watery and what are fiery planets later. Lots of things are coming, but as of now, I'm saying because these two planets love to delight, they love to be in luxury. Okay, so if you're internally happy, all the other kendras will balance. The first house, seventh house, 10th house, all three will balance. Why? Because if you are happy, then only you can give happiness to your wife or to your husband, which is the seventh house. If you are happy in home, inside, or doing what you love in life, or being the way you are, then only you will be able to work properly. Your work efficiency will be more only then. Otherwise, your work structure will collapse. Your boss will tell you, my dear sir, you are not working the way you used to work earlier. What is the problem? Are you interested in working or should I fire you? And then your lagna gets affected. Your whole life gets affected. Your personality, your face becomes very dull. Have you seen unhappy people? Suppose somebody is going through a relationship problem, or suppose his mother is sick, or suppose his father is sick, or suppose his children are not doing well. Whatever the issue might be, it is affecting his fourth house. You see his face. His face will be like a dried vegetable. Immediately you can see and tell, sir, what is the problem. Suppose you are unhappy in your workplace. Suppose you are doing something which you don't like. Suppose you wanted to go into, you wanted to become a doctor. Suppose, oh no, no, not doctor. Suppose you wanted to become a writer, which by writing you get a lot of inner satisfaction and you feel your ideas can flow properly. But instead of that, you became a doctor or an engineer, which happens in most of the cases in India, unfortunately. Of course, the structure is changing now by God's grace, but that's how it is in most of the places still, which should not be actually. That's horrendous. So that is, even though that is your 10th house where you are acting, but that is affecting your 4th house because your heart is not into that. Yes. 4th house doesn't only mean your home and your heart. It means anything in life which you are not, or which you actually identify with, and which you don't want to let go, or to which you are attached to basically. Suppose you are attached to writing, then you should pursue a career in writing because then you will be the best writer, because you will do things effortlessly. Because they say na, for those who love their job, they don't work. It's just fun for them. So in that case, 4th house becomes very important. So we should see every area of our life, all the other houses. Are we able to put the 4th house there or not? Take the example of the 7th house. I'll come to 7th house next. But suppose take the example of the 7th house. You are not happy with your partner. Then you will not be able to be happy with your mother also. Hmm? You will be unhappy with your father, with your children, with your boss. No? So unhappiness in one of the areas directly affect the 4th house because that is the house of the heart. What the heart wants. And that is why it is originally the sign of Cancer, which is ruled by moon. Of course, we will discuss about all the zodiac signs specifically later, but I'm just saying. And there is another planet which does excellent here, that is Jupiter. Because Jupiter in the 4th house signifies a great mother. 4th house is the house of your mother, your home. That shows that whenever you are home, you are learning. Jupiter is learning, higher learning, wisdom, God, spirituality, divine knowledge, light of the Vedas, the Upanishads, the Puranas, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, the Dharmapada, and your gurus, guides, counselors. So that shows that whenever you are in your home, you have that atmosphere that you can grow internally as a person, and overall you can be happy. Jupiter is expansion, prosperity, happiness, blessing, it's grace, it's piety, it's charity. All these divine values, anything good you see in this world is by Jupiter. Anything good, any achievement in life is through Jupiter. Any positivity in life is through Jupiter. So that shows that in your heart those foundations are there. You are very strong inside as a person. Nothing can shake you. Any calamity cannot shake you. Because whenever you come to your own heart, your Jupiter is sitting there and it always activates itself, right? So that is why 4th house becomes very important. That is why it is the pillar. 4th house from any house will tell you how happy you are. Take the 4th house from the 1st house. It becomes the 4th house only. We will go on house to house concepts later, but I am just talking of the Kendra here. So the 4th from the 1st house of Lagna is the 4th house itself. So from your whole life, your home becomes very important. You are only happy when things are right at your home. But now you check the 4th house from the 4th house. So 4th house is here 1, 2, 3, 4. In astrology, we always consider houses from that house itself. So when we say 4th from the 4th, it does not mean 1, 2, 3, 4. It means 4th including the 4th. So 4th, 5th, 7th, sorry, 6th, 7th. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4th from the 4th is the 7th house. All Kendras are 4 to each other. See, 4 and 10, 7. So 4th from the 7th house becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 from the 10th house is Lagna. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 here for the Lagna, this is the fourth house. For the fourth house, this is the seventh house is the fourth house, and for the seventh house, the 10th house is the fourth house. So when we talk of fourth house, it is not only this fourth house which is from the Lagna. Now, why is the seventh house fourth from the fourth? Because seventh house is who? Your opposite sex, your partner. For man it's women and for women it's men. So unless there you have the opposition, the association of the opposite sex in your home, for a man the wife, or for the wife the husband, it will not become a home. It will remain a house. Yes, that's why people get married, because after getting married they become more happy. Ideally they are supposed to be, but that doesn't happen in most of the cases. But on a larger context, I'm saying that your home is beautified. Fourth house is beauty, na? So the beauty of your home comes from the wife. So if your wife is not there in your home, even though the house is looking very beautiful, it's decorated very well, but you will not feel as if you are in home, right? Even if other people are there. So for the fourth house to function properly, the seventh house has to be there. So happiness of home is where women are, or where your husband is, right? That's what is seen in the in the ancient epics also of the Vedic tradition. We have the example of Ramayana, where, of course, today is the auspicious day of Ram Navami, so it does justice to the festival if I speak something. We all know about Ramayana. For those who do not know, I will explain what is Ramayana, and we will go to that in detail in later videos. But Lord Ram is one of the incarnations of Vishnu, one of the 10 incarnations. So he was once ordered by his stepmother, Kaikeyi, to go into forest in exile for 14 years. And he was a great prince of the Ayodhya, the kingdom of Ayodhya. And his wife was the most virtuous, Sita Devi, who is none other than Lakshmi himself. Lord Ram is Vishnu himself. Vishnu is one of the gods, Trinity. We will see who Vishnu is later. Okay, then what happened? Lord Ram told to his wife Sita Devi that, see, I have been given order by my stepmother that I have to go to forest for 14 years. So I will go and you will stay here in the palace. But then Sita said, but my home is wherever you are. No? So even though she would stay in the fourth house of home, but if her husband, which is Lord Ram, the seventh house is not there, she would not feel like at home. No? So wherever he is, she would also be with him. Yes. So fourth from the fourth, the happiness of your home comes from your partner. Otherwise, you don't feel like being at home. And then we come to the seventh house. Seventh house is what? It is the house of marriage. It is primarily the house of other people. That's a contradiction, because it is an apparent contradiction actually. I will resolve the contradiction. The contradiction is, it is the house of public platform and personal life also. It is other people basically. Whoever you face. Now I am facing this laptop, so I am the Lagna, and this chart which I am seeing is the seventh house. because I'm facing this person. Na? It is opposing me. Opposing, by opposing, I don't mean it's causing a hindrance, it's causing some kind of uh, trouble to me, but it is in front of me directly. Okay. So you and your partner are always facing each other. Na? She's facing you, you are facing her. And what are, who is the world actually? The billions of people who are there in this world, they are other people. We are focusing on them, they are focusing on us. Yes. And that is why the sign of Libra is there in the seventh house. Libra is what? It's balance, scale, equality. So whenever we are in a relationship, we should maintain that equilibrium. If the other person, our spouse, is doing more for us, contributing more in the relationship, investing more, we should also equally invest. Otherwise, the relationship cannot work. If the man is always sending good morning messages to the girlfriend, then she also should reciprocate. Ideally, sometimes she also should send. Yes, the equality should be there. That's what Libra is, right? That is the scale which is there. It's the sign of the market, because that in market we deal with other people. What is marriage? You have to deal constantly with one person 24 hours. You have to adjust yourself according to the needs of the other person. Yes, otherwise the marriage cannot work. It will split apart, it will break. You have to try to focus on the commonalities rather than focusing on the differences. Otherwise, any partnership cannot work. Marriage is what? Basically a partnership only. Libra is the sign of partnerships. It is the sign of business, contracts, deals, agreements, negotiations. Negotiation, yes. I want this, you want that. Let's do this somewhere middle. It's neither this way nor that way. Somewhere the other way. Yes. And that is why Venus rules Libra. It is the original significator of the seventh house. Because Venus represents balance, fair deals, okay, equality in dealings. Now the contradiction was, this is private life and public life both. Because seventh house is not only the spouse, it is the other people also which we face. Anybody we face in this world. Any other person other than us is the seventh house. It is also the house of name, fame. Just like the Lagna. At times, seventh house can mean that more, because we are showing ourselves in front of other people. Our focus is in other people now when we talk of the seventh house. Now, how can it be simultaneously a personal house and a public house? That's something very silly, and it's very easy to understand. That a person can only have a good personal life or a good public life. In 99% of the cases, he cannot have both, because he only has 24 hours. If he's focusing on one person, on his spouse all the time, running behind him or her, trying to please her all the time, then he will not have time for others, for his mother, father, and friends, relatives. He will not be able to give more time to others. Now, on the other hand, if somebody is too much focused on showing himself to others or focusing on other people, for example, big politicians, they want to gain this support. Yes. So many politicians, you see, they will not get married. Like, for example, the current Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's not married. Ex Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, she was married, but her marriage didn't go that great. The current main man of the Congress party in India is Rahul Gandhi. He's also unmarried. Many cinema stars, why? They sometimes their marriages don't work because they are always focused on showing themselves to others, so they don't have time for their spouses. Big businessmen, their marriages don't work sometimes. Big corporates, because ultimately at the end of the day you have only 24 hours. You cannot have everything in life. Yes, by the way, I forgot to say fourth house is also home and elections. Okay, because the context of politics came here, so I said. So elections are also seen from the fourth house because you need the support of the mass, the public. Yes, otherwise how will you win? Because it is your home, homeland, home people. And so in the seventh house we see all this public life, personal life, so it becomes very important. Now this does not mean that you cannot have a personal and a public life simultaneously. I did not say that. There are many people who are married and they are very famous also. But on a larger context, I'm saying you can check whatever I said regarding politicians and film stars, and so you can see, because if there is too much focus on one part, then the other part will be neglected by default. Yes, you cannot become a cook and a singer and a writer and a magician and an astrologer simultaneously. They say that jack of all trades, master of none. You may have hand in 10 different areas, that is understood. Suppose you may know a bit of astrology, you may know a bit of cricket, you may know a bit of journalism, you may know a bit of politics, you may have some connections here. You can be a diversified personality, but you cannot be a master of everything. That you cannot become. That is not possible, and that's not needed also. So in the seventh house, either we can be focused on our private life or the public life. And that's why they say that those people who have uh, great public lives often don't have good personal lives, because that's why they are all the time with the public, because they don't want to come home, or they are not getting well along with their spouse. Again, these are broader principles. We should not interpret them literally, but in general, you can see. And then we come to the most powerful Kendra house. It is the 10th house. This strongest of all the four pillars, strongest of all the Kendras. Yes. Why is it the strongest? Because 10th house is the house where sun stays when sun is at the peak of the sky. We will discuss about positions of suns and sun and the ascendant, how it changes, etc. later. But as of now, whenever sun is in the afternoon, okay, I mean in the afternoon, if somebody is born around 11 to 1, between this time, in summer winter it may change a bit, roughly between 11 to 1, these 2 hours, his sun will be placed in the 10th house, irrespective of the ascendant or anything else. Anybody who is born in this time, 11:30 to 1, high chances are sun will be in the 10th house, very high chances. If it is in summer, it may go to the ninth house, or if it is winter, it may be still in the 11th house. But on a larger context, I'm saying, as a thumb rule, you can take this: anybody who is born during this time, 11:30 to 12:30, or basically at noon, he will have sun in the 10th house. Okay. And what is the 10th house? 10th house is the midheaven, it's the zenith of the sky. We will explain about 10th house specifically, about which planets do good there, why they do good, about them later. But in the afternoon, what happens? At that time, sun is at the peak, it is directly over your head, right? At that 12:30, 12, 1 o'clock, that time. So, sun's heat is at the strongest, it is at its peak. Everybody is feeling the heat of the sun. Yes, it is shining with all its brightness and benevolence. Not benevolence at times. You feel the heat and you are sweating profusely if you are in a country which is near to the equator, or even in the summer in European Union or the United States, wherever you are, you will be sweating if you are walking in the street without air condition. That means what? Sun is making you feel his presence very strongly. Yes, that is why sun becomes very powerful when it is in the 10th house. Just like moon and Venus become very powerful when it is in the 4th house. We will go to these areas later. Which planet does well where and which does not do good where, and why, and what are the reasons later. But as of now, I am saying, because sun is the masculine power in the chart for a man, especially the ability to be strong, be fixed, be oneself. And whenever somebody is born in that time, nearby that time, afternoon, sun is in the 10th house, so it is extremely powerful. It is at the most powerful position in a day which it can be. And what is actually the 10th house? 10th house is the impact which we make in this world. It shows our focus. Jobs are mainly seen from the 6th house, also from the 10th house. But 6th house shows the repetitive daily job work which we do, brushing our teeth, taking bath, all these are 6th house. I mean, if you take that principle of doing daily job, daily task, yes, 10th house is the power in the chart. It represents midheaven. We will discuss what is midheaven later. But it is the most power packed house in the chart. If there are the more the planets in the 10th, the better is it. Because the person will have a lot of energy focused there. And the planet which is sitting, whichever planet is in the 10th, becomes very powerful automatically, because that house itself is very strong. It is like there's an engine below which is very hot, it's heating and it's beating the hell out of you. So you yourself start jumping, yes, because you cannot keep your feet there. So you're jumping, you are dancing, you are bubbling with enthusiasm to do something. And especially two planets, sun, Mars, does excellent in the 10th. And even other planets do excellent, very good. Moon, Venus also does great. Now, what is 10th house basically? 10th house is your actions, your karma. From the morning till the end, whatever you are doing is seen by the 10th house. Everything, now I am speaking to you, I am doing karma, I am doing some work, some activity, I am creating a further action reaction chain. You understand the law of karma, which I had a bit introduced in my earlier video of goal of astrology. But we will discuss about law of karma later. It's a beautiful principle. Okay. But 10th house is driving the entire chart. 10th house dominates the chart. Why it dominates the chart? Whichever planet is in the 10th, we are focused on working towards it. And the Lagna, of course. So, suppose there is Moon in the 10th. The person can be always working towards helping other people, being a doctor, working towards women, okay, uplifting women, feminine energy. Even if Venus is there, Venus can show a person is involved in business or in the showbiz industry. If Rahu is there, then definitely this can be there. If Sun and Saturn, these kind of planets are there, it can show politics at times. If Mercury is there, it can show a great writer, great communicator, great speech, a person who has a lot of speaking abilities. Jupiter can show a great teacher. Mercury also teacher at times. Ketu can show a person who is greatly spiritual in doing his activities, charitable. So whatever we are doing since the morning is we are doing some activity or the other. We are creating a further chain of karma. So we should do good karmas. Yes. Otherwise we have to suffer the reactions for the karma later. The bad karma. If you do good karmas, you will enjoy the fruits later. So if there are more planets in the 10th house, it's very good because then the person will have some very strong concrete focus in his life towards which he will be working all the time. Suppose the ascendant lord or the planet which is ruling the ascendant, the first house, we will go to lordships, etc. later. But suppose, as of now, I'm saying every house, as you know, is controlled by some planet. Suppose you take this example here. First house here, the first house, suppose it is having the sign of Aries, which is also number one. For example, I'm saying which is the sign which is the ruler of the sign Aries, it is Mars. So suppose here Mars is sitting in the 10th house in the sign of Capricorn, which is the 10th sign of the zodiac, then that shows that the ascendant lord, the person, the man himself, the body has gone to the 10th house of work. So which is a fabulous condition. It is out of the world mind blowing because the person is always working towards something. He's never sitting idle. Or if there are two planets in the 10th house, three planets in the 10th house, you will never find these people idle. They will always be doing something or the other. They will always be doing some work. Uh, Now, why career is seen from the 10th house? Why name fame? I'll give you the logic. Because, as I said, daily work is 6th house, repetitive jobs. But why 10th house? 10th house of karma? Because from suppose we are working as a politician, then majority of our karmas from the morning till the evening or maybe night also is focus related to the planet sun or moon, or sun and moon both represent politics. Okay, so that is why most of the activities which we do are in the work field. Yes, people are known because of their work primarily. Of course, some of them can be known because they are very beautiful or they can sing very well, but even that is a work which they are doing. Yes, they're earning a living by that. They are working, their focus is towards that. So if somebody doesn't have planets in the 10th house, it can show a lack of focus in life, what the person wants to do. At times it can show. Or if a person has too many planets, that can also create trouble. He may be working in 10 different directions simultaneously and he may get confused. Oh, what should I do? Should I do this? Should I do that? Or what? And then, like, he's lost. Because these planets are pushing him all the time. Go here, go there, go there. So it is our deeds, our actions, our karma which primarily manifest in the workplace. By manifestation, I mean we primarily engage in the workplace from morning till night. That does not mean whatever we do in our home is not a part of our karma, but in a sense, it means that whatever we do consistently with effort, with focus, 10,000 is the focus. Remember this word. It is the power in the chart. It is the impact that you make in this world. When you work, with focus, with attention, with determination, with precision, then you achieve success ultimately. Success will come to you. Either you want it or you don't, it will come to you. Depending on your karma. When it will come, how much it will come. Will it come gradually, slowly, or overnight? So, because of our actions, we get name fame. So, whenever a planet which is sitting in the 10th house, his time period gets active, we will go to what is time period later. You can get some name fame, which means that you can get a job opportunity where you can work, which is what, suppose tomorrow somebody gets a contract, very big business contract, which means what, he's getting an opportunity to work somewhere, to invest his time, energy, effort, money. So he will naturally become famous if he gets a job at a multinational company like Google or Facebook. That means what, he has got a chance to invest his energy by focusing on one place. So then he will become famous. So it is not that it is the house of name fame. It is that we get an opportunity to prove ourselves by doing certain actions by which you get name fame. You understand? And 10th house is also the house of government. It is authority, power, your boss, whoever is above you. Because in work place you have to follow them. And only when they give you name fame you will get it. Yes. Suppose your manager gives you a what you say, prize or appraisal or whatever you say, some gift, some praise. They have to give you, no? Without that, how will you get? Unless you are self-employed. So I hope you understand what is the 10th house. And that is how it is the house of name fame. Not that it is the house of name fame. How it is the house of name fame? Because when you consistently work towards something, focused in a focused way, focused manner, with lot of power inside, any person who has many planets in the 10th house shows that he is a very strong person inside. He will cross over any difficulty which comes in life because he will be focused towards working. Na? He will not waste time. So naturally he will be successful in life, depending on his karma, obviously. We will discuss in detail about all these houses later. Okay. So until next time, see you. Bye bye. Have a great day.